What a day. So, let me tug at your ear for a second, if you'll so let me. Just one of the many times, just scanning through Facebook, whew, that is bright. Sorry, my face is, there we go, step in the shade. I stumbled onto a poll that was being done. It was, who are you going to vote for in 2020? Donald Trump? Bernie Sanders? It's interesting. I mean, maybe they're out there, but I haven't really seen any other polls like that for the other Democratic candidates that have thrown their hat in the ring. But anyway, it was only like 2 days ago. And I voted, and when I went on there, I noticed it was pretty close, but Bernie had, I think, like a 6-point lead. It was like 53-47, percentage-wise. And Facebook made a point to let me know, and maybe it's, because I put a vote in, but they made a point to let me know, hey, that poll's closed. Do you want to see the results? And only a handful more actually voted. Ew, it's mushy out here. It snowed recently. And only a small number voted after me. I mean, of the votes that had already been accumulating when I voted, there was maybe 20% of that. And yet, the final tally was Trump 52, Bernie 48. So how the hell did a poll with that few votes coming in just a couple of days flip a poll that quickly? You'd have to get such a higher number for Trump. And granted, I find it seems a lot more conservatives are receptive to these poll things, so you almost always see Republicans do better. Homeless person, I think. I'm gonna walk this way. But I found that very suspicious. I mean, what better way to, first posting that on my profile so I would see it, a guy who's an avid Bernie supporter who created a Facebook in support of Bernie. And for anybody else who's involved, what better way to say, hey, look at that. You guys support Bernie Sanders, Trump's gonna get reelected. And I'm like, give me a break, man. All those polls they were doing in 2016, Bernie was pretty much beating Trump by anywhere from 6 to 12 or 15 points. It was an easy victory in all of them, whereas Trump and Hillary's polls were a lot closer. So, I think, wow, just another smear campaign. I'm wholeheartedly feel like something was done to tamper with those results to flip it that much with so few votes added. So, but it's just another example, doesn't anybody else find it at least modestly peculiar that, by the time Bernie threw his hat in the ring, there were how many people who had already said they were going to run as a Democrat? 10, 11 people. And by the time Bernie threw his hat in the ring and they were like, look at all these people running under the Democratic ticket, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people. I didn't realize that many people were running. You know why? Because when all these other Democrats threw their hat in the ring, all these more establishment people that aren't going to rock the boat probably, nobody really had much to say. Nobody was going to question them. Nobody was going to smear them. And then Bernie shows up, and all of a sudden, boom, it's just smear, 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 smear. It's been nothing but a smear fest. Since like the minute he announced his candidacy. I apologize for the sun hitting me. There's sun up there. And it's really astonishing. And I mean, the media is being used to perpetrate all this horseshit about Bernie. They don't want you to vote for him because he's, kind of like JFK was. He's a threat to almost every power structure. He's, particularly a threat to rich people because he's saying, hey, time for you people to pay your fair share as well. Quit putting it on all the poor people. I don't really know how much longer they think that's going to work, because eventually there's going to be so many more poor people that there's going to be barely any economy left at the rate we're going. And how are you going to keep your businesses open when you rely on us to buy your crap? But that's a discussion for another day. But I mean, doesn't it bother, anybody else that all these people are putting so much investment into attacking one guy and going this hard at him so long before we're still a year away almost from the primaries even starting. And everybody is just going so hard at Bernie. And like, doesn't that bother people? I know it bothers people that are, you know, trying to keep their eyes open, looking at it saying, why is so much attention being focused on this one man? And not presuming, oh, it must be because he's really crooked and a horrible candidate. Because we all know, even if you don't really like the guy that much, he's got the experience and he's got what it takes. He's certainly got the chops. The guy's 78 years old and he's been going hard seemingly every day of his life. It's one of the things I appreciate about him. You know, I like to think with the next president, I might actually have some decent health care. I think these birds don't like Bernie. Birds are supposed to like, you're supposed to like Bernie. We're in Oregon, Portland specifically. How do you not like Bernie if you're a bird? Sidetracked. You know, I like to think I'm going to have better health care in the future. I like to think I'm going to get some help with that mountain of student loan debt I had to get because, like every other person, it was like if you're going to go to college, you can't afford college anymore. How's an 18-year-old supposed to afford a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, you know, college bill? Well, you take out student loan money, and then the banks are so stunned as to why all these students can't pay back these massive bills right away. And they say, well, you shouldn't have taken out the money if you couldn't pay it back. Well, we're told in this society you have to go to college in order to get a good job, and since nobody can afford college, we have to take out the money. So which one is it? You know? It's crazy and it's chaotic, but I saw that poll today and I was like, wow. It seems pretty damn clear to me that that poll was doctored late. I mean, I voted in it and I was following it. And all of a sudden it went from Bernie up by 6 to Bernie losing by 4. With not a whole lot more people voting. And this crap is going to continue on. And people need to, you know, either open up about it, keep their eyes open, you know, whichever side you're on. And, you know, I'm going to be tracking this stuff all pretty closely, you know, and probably coming on here and talking about this a lot because this is important to me. I'm never once going to tell you, hey, you have to vote for Bernie Sanders. You're a bad American if you don't vote for Bernie, which is kind of the Republican, the establishment Republican and Democrat perspective. If you don't vote for their candidate, you're scum, you're a loser, you don't care about the country. Anybody who's blindly voting for a Democrat or Republican just because it's their same party is not doing any services to this country, so don't come and get in my face because I don't support the party line. I support a candidate who says what they're going to do, and whether they can actually fully succeed at doing all that is actually going to try and bust their ass to try to make it happen. I don't think everything Bernie wants is going to happen. He has too much opposition. But I feel very comfortable knowing he's sitting in the White House doing everything he can to make all these things that he's been trying to make happen for so long. Now he has a little bit more power and maybe he can have more push. All right? And quit getting all paranoid that his plans, because he's a democratic socialist, that he's just going to bankrupt all of us. It's already been proven that a universal healthcare system has been analyzed, you know, bipartisan analyst or analysis, that a universal healthcare system would be cheaper than the one we currently have. So what are you guys waiting for? I mean, I know what they're waiting for, but logistically, you know, if everybody's so good, you know, everybody's so righteous, what are you guys waiting for? Get that universal healthcare plan going. Have it for us tomorrow. You know? It's astonishing, you know? The powers that be, there's certain things they don't want us to have because it comes at a sacrifice or a loss or something on their end. So they continuously convince us over and over again that not only are these possibilities impossible, but that it's insane to even believe in them. You're crazy to think you're going to get universal health care. You're crazy to think you're going to get affordable college, much less free college. You know, you're crazy to think life is apparently ever going to be good for you. And people start to believe that. People, you know, Republicans, Democrats, I've seen people on both sides do it. They will go out and get actively hostile when you suggest the possibility of universal health care. It's crazy. Shouldn't we, I mean, obviously not the major politicians, because they're not going to do shit for us for the most part, but shouldn't we, as the people, be invested in making things better and like as good as they can get? Shouldn't we be invested in that? I feel like we should. I feel like that's a no-brainer. And there's a security guy back there, and I'm out of uniform. He's probably like, what the hell are you doing back here? Did you see a kid in a blue striped sweater? I think he's up to no good. I hear he likes Bernie Sanders. Cuff him. Book him right now. Anyway, just my 2 bits for the day. Don't believe everything the frickin' media tells you. They're not always lying, but learn how to read between the lines. That's my advice for the day. Have a good day. Keep fighting, keep trying to make things better. And I'll see you later.